It's time now for the West Holmes Knights Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by Village Motors in Millersburg.
This week's Knights Football Weekly Preview Show brought to you by Village Motors in Millersburg. I'm Matt Quayle alongside Will Adana. West Holmes able to get a come from behind 23-21 victory over the Madison Rams on Friday. Of course, the game-winning field goal by Alex Pringle. And as we talked about on Friday, Will, it wasn't the prettiest of games, but West Holmes found a way to get it done.
You don't get style points. You just got to get the W. And, the biggest thing was they battled adversity. Part of that adversity was self-inflicted. It was the turnovers and the penalties. But like you said Friday night, they found a way. And when they needed it, they came through, and you go on. You get the win. You coach it up this week. You try to fix that, and it's on to Worcester.
You can kind of see this team also. You have to work on eliminating those mistakes and the penalties and the turnovers certainly here. But you can see what this team is capable of every week here more and more, it seems like, when they put the things together.
Yeah, when they put it together, they march down the field. We just got to do that now and protect the ball. We had a good run-pass mix. I thought we had Madison off balance throughout that game. We just kept gifting them turnovers. If we knock that off, I think we're putting, quite a few points on that board.
You mentioned 2-0 in OCC play. That's not to be taken for granted. Also to get off to a good foot as they have here, or a good start, I should say, in conference action.
Yeah, and you want to keep that rolling. We're on to Worcester. We go on the road, Worcester, and we get that win. We got a chance to really set up a big showdown on Week 8 at home against Ashland. So you can't look past anybody, and we've learned that. So, like I said, it's just 2-0 is great, and we just want to keep it going.
Alongside West Holmes Knights head football coach Keaton Leppla coming off that 23-21 victory over Madison on Friday. As we talked about, Keaton certainly didn't go perfectly. A lot of turnovers, penalties, things like that. But at the same token, despite all of that, these guys, the resolve of this team, what does it say about the resolve, the character of this team, the fact they were able to fight through that and still get that win?
Yeah, that's one of the things. That's the biggest goal. The biggest thing I want to see from these kids is just that grit. And that last drive we had, that epitomizes grit right there. Not putting the ball in the air one time, being able to drive down the field, a couple helpful penalties, but being able to drive down the field and, put the ball on the 3-yard line dead center and give it to our kicker. As a kicker, you can't ask for much better than that. So, the grit of the team, and this is a team they stood up, and it's the first time I saw them really believe in themselves and know that they can do it and kind of accept that challenge. So, there was a lot of ugly in that game, but at the end of the day, there's not an asterisk next to that W. It's a W. We're 2-0 in the conference, and we're moving on, and that's exactly what our goal was.
And from the positive standpoint here, we saw the team move the ball here about as well as we've seen all season long. It got stopped with some of the turnovers and things like that, but you saw this offense really work at times in that game.
Yeah, I think we're starting to, it's taken 5 weeks, but we're finding our identity. Hey, starting with 12, he's starting to get comfortable with, our passing game. He's starting to realize, hey, if a defense gives us this, let's take this. Same thing. And then, our backfield, you can't speak to those guys in the backfield enough between Brody, Maddox, and Lynn. Lynn's exploded onto the scene as a running back, and it started just trying to get the ball in his hands. So, those three have done a great job. We need to work on a little ball security there with those three. But, and then our offensive line's really bought in. They love the fact that our last drive was nothing but run after run after run, and they love these 5, 6, 7, 20-yard runs. So those guys are really embracing that run mentality. And, I think that offensive line from week 1, they've given up sacks, but I don't know how many are, truly because of breakdown. So I feel like those guys up front are just really gaining confidence in themselves in this game.
How about the defense, Keaton? Even this last game, put in some tough spots here, but again, found ways to get the stops when they had to.
Yeah, and we've talked before. We want to see consecutive outings with that type of mentality and the relentlessness from our defense and that bend don't break mentality. It was really nice to see us do that 2 weeks in a row, and for our defense to be able to score points, and for our defense to be put in tough situations, in bad field positions, a momentum going against them, and then for them to stand up and get off the field is huge for us.
Even that last play, you talked about putting your kicker in a good spot to get that game-winning field goal, and they was, but still to kind of execute that last play here, or some of the blocking up front and making the kick, that was also huge to be able to execute that there at the end.
Yeah, that shows you right there. Special teams is just as important. We had one blocked earlier in the game on an extra point. Those guys up front shorted up. That's our starting offensive line. So those guys shorted up, stepped down, great blocking. Chance gave a good snap. Hey, Rhett had a good hold, and Alex was able to put it through the upright. So, I mean, yeah, that's kudos to all three, everybody on that field goal extra point team, because you know everybody, they're coming for it. They're going to bring the house. You know it's going to be a little bit different than an extra point, but for those guys to step up to the challenge is huge, and this whole team to step up to the challenge is a big swing for us.
Certainly did. Now 2-0 in the OCC because of that, and it's Worcester week. You know from a player and as a coach here what that means here as far as taking on Worcester this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a huge rivalry. It was a rivalry when I was in school. It's been a rivalry when I was coaching over there. And it's probably going to be even a little bit bigger this year. So we know we're going to get their best shot. We know they're going to throw the kitchen sink at us. I got a ton of respect for the coaches and the players over there. But fortunately for me, I got a little bit better insight than the common guy with what they're trying to do over there. So they got some kids that are making some plays. They've been in a lot of games, but we feel like we can find some areas to exploit and attack, and it's going to be a fun one.
Keaton, thanks for your time.
Absolutely, thank you.
And I'm alongside senior defensive end Hunter McCluggage and senior kicker Alex Pringle. And Hunter, will lead things off with you here, leading this team with 5.5 sacks, second on the team with 41 tackles on the year. Talk about just your role on the team, what you're trying to do up front.
So I'm trying to make sure the defense is on point. I try and take all the new defensive ends and defensive tackles under my wing, and I try and make sure that we're doing everything right. Because if we do everything right, I think that we could be a really good football team, and I think we can accomplish what we want to do.
I mentioned those 5.5 sacks. You're kind of wreaking havoc there up front here. Talk about just what allows you to be able to get that pressure on the quarterback.
Me being really quick and these linemen being really, really slow, I can normally get an inside in and then go back out and get a sack on quarterback.
We've already seen this defense do some good things there this first part of the season. What do you think is good? What the defense has been able to do to excel so far this year?
I think we can hold a lot of pressure, and our what we do is our 111th, and everybody can. If everybody does their thing, then we can. Our defense will have them on lockdown.
I know you guys are up for every week here. You get a little extra up, I guess, when you take on Worcester, and it's Worcester week like this.
Yeah, this is a really big game for us. Me personally, I really hate Worcester. I don't know what's about it, but they always seem cocky to me. So I really want to win against these kids.
All right, that says it all right there. Okay, let's get it to senior kicker Alex Pringle as well. We're going to talk to Alex. And Alex, of course, you had the pressurized kick there at the end. Game-winning field goal, of course, 20-yard field goal, but got the game-winning kick. Can you take us through what's kind of going through your mind as a kicker here before you made that kick here in that game?
Yeah, I just knew I had to do my job and go out there and execute the kick. It was just pretty much a routine kick, a normal PAT, pretty much just a little more pressure. But everybody did their job. I'll do my job.
Might be a routine kick, but you still came through to get that kick. And despite everything that kind of went against you guys the other night, you were able to get that win. What did it feel to be able to come through and find a way to get a victory like that?
Oh, it felt really good. We had been fighting all game, and it was a close game all game pretty much. And just being behind with 2 minutes left for the first time in the game and going down there and be able to punch that in to win the game felt really good.
Alex, for you just never know when you're going to be called to go out there, either be a PAT or possibly a field goal like there. How do you kind of keep your focus here and get yourself ready for when you do have to go out there?
Yeah, I'm always watching the game. You got to be paying attention. You never know when I'll have to go out there, and there's always the net on the sidelines that I kick into.
All right, so as far as this week is concerned, what's the biggest thing you guys are focusing on as a team here as you take on this Worcester team?
Not looking ahead of them. We want to come out of the week 1-0. That's what coach has been saying the whole year pretty much, and just be 1-0 in the OCC.
Alex, thank you.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, if you need to look for a pre-owned vehicle or a new vehicle, stop by at Village Motors in Millersburg. They have all the vehicles you need. Of course, a great selection here. Supplier price here right now on select trucks at Village Motors. That's some great rebates and also some great deals on trucks at Village Motors. So stop by and see them. Great sales staff over there as well. Of course, they have the full-service body shop and service department at Village Motors on Millersburg. Again, that's Village Motors on Worcester Road in Millersburg on the web at villagemotorsinc.com. Well, West Holmes comes in with a record of 3-2 on the season. They're 2-0 in the OCC. Of course, they're going to be taking on the Worcester Generals on the road this week. Worcester are 1-4 overall. They're 0-3 in the Ohio Car Conference. Of course, you go back to last year's matchup in Night Stadium. That was a thriller. It was a tied at 28 through three quarters. 2 touchdown runs by Morgan Smith in the fourth got West Holmes the 43-40 win over Worcester. And Will O'Donnell alongside here. You kind of look just to last year's matchup. Worcester, maybe not their best season last year, but that was a thriller. You can never take this Worcester team for granted.
No, I don't think you can take them for granted. It's been a rivalry since we joined the OCC. And, they kind of had our number early there. The last few years, we've kind of turned that around. I know they like to, give it right back to us here week 5. So if you look at Keaton Leppla, they know him, he knows them, and I'm sure they would like to hang one on him here at their place. So I think with Worcester, you throw the records out. It's a rivalry game.
Definitely an interesting connection with Coach Keaton Leppla, of course, coming from Worcester, now the head coach over West Holmes. But aside from that, Will, what are the biggest things you're looking for from West Holmes in this matchup?
I think, once again, it's for us, we got to protect the ball and limit the penalties, knock off the turnovers. I think for Worcester, they've got a great running back, and he's probably closing in on close to 1,000 yards already through 5 games. So we're going to have to stop him. We're going to have to stop the run. And I like our chances of that. I think our front 6, our front 7 have been up for the challenge most of the season. So to me, it's that matchup right there.
Should be a lot of fun. Don't miss it here on Friday night. If you can't make it out to the game, make sure you just tune in to WKLM. Of course, we'll be video live streaming that matchup on the WKLM YouTube page, courtesy of our partnership with Claxon Communications. We're also going to be on FM 95.3 and WKLM-FM.com. Our hometown football Friday night pregame show is at 6 p.m. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. For Will O'Donnell, I'm Matt Roy. Special thanks, of course, to Keaton Leppla, along with Alex Pringle and Hunter McCluggage. And that's been this week's Nice Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by Village Motors in Millersburg.
You've been watching the West Holmes Knights Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by Village Motors in Millersburg.